Hey guys, this is Nikki coming to you from Get Lashed by Nikki. I had a reviewer actually reach out to me the other day on my Instagram account. By the way, add me up. It's GETLASHDBYNIKKI, which I will have the link down below. At this time, he's not saying to get a little too personal, but what he is saying is to at least play 20 random thoughts. So I thought, okay, why not? What I am doing is actually messaging him now to let him know I'm ready. And he basically said once I hit record to let him know, and he will send the questions to me, and at least therefore it's an honest answer, honest review, because I haven't seen what these questions are. So I did tell him to be rated PG because my mama is one of my subscribers. Thank you, mama. Thank you, Jesus. And you know, let's see where this can go, right? It goes. And here is the questions. I'm going to open the link. Okay, that's just my luck. Okay, so question number 1. What would be harder for you? To tell somebody that you love them or that you don't love them back? I mean, I don't like to hurt anybody's feelings, so harder for me. Probably to tell somebody I don't love them back. I personally would probably avoid the question. If I love you, you'll see it in my actions. If I don't love you, you'll see it in my actions. So I think it would be hard for me to have to verbalize that, listen, dude, I don't like you. Kick rocks, deuces, see, you know, hasta luego, whatever it is. But that would probably be the hardest thing for me to do, is to have to tell somebody that. So I would probably avoid the question altogether and ghost them. No, I'm joking. No, I'm joking. I wouldn't do that. But you know what I mean. Like, it'd be harder for me to tell them that. I'm a loving person. So if I love you, I will tell you over and over and over again. What do you think would be the hardest thing for you to give up on? Life. Thank you, Mom. Thank you, Dad. I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to be alive. I'm happy to be healthy. You know, thank you, Jesus. You know, so it'd be hard for me to have to say, okay, this or that, whatever. I'm not ready to end it just yet. And I don't want to go on a morbid spin. I hope the rest of these questions aren't on that type of morbid spin, but I'm not. Yeah, life would be the hardest thing for me to have to give up. Would you give a homeless person CPR if they were dying? Most definitely. I guess that ties into the first one. If I don't want to give up on life, I'm not going to allow somebody around me to give up on life as well too. I am CPR trained, so most definitely, if there's a way I can help, I am going to jump in and I'm going to help that person. What makes you bored? Anybody who knows me knows I'm easily bored. So listen, the number one thing is tardiness. I am super duper, my curse and my gift is that I'm always on time or really early. If I start work at 10, I'm at work by 9:20. I don't like to be rushed on anything. I like to take my time, chill, relax, and jump in and do the best I can based on the fact that I wasn't rushed to do it. I find that if you rush to do things, there's room for error, room to be able to make mistakes. So what makes me bored is waiting on people. I understand that not everybody can have my knack of being on time or being super early. I get that, but if I tell you I'm picking up at 10 and I'm there from 9:20, cool, that's my fault. So if I'm there till 10:30, 10:20, I will drive the hell off. And people don't seem to like that, but it's true. I do not like to wait. Thank God for Snapchat, because now what I do to kill my boredom is I'll be snapping. So follow me on Snapchat as well too. And if it wasn't for Snapchat, I'd probably have a lot less friends than I do right now. Just saying. Which is my favorite four-legged creature and why? I'm a girly girl and I don't really like anything that has more legs than me. I mean, no disrespect. Dogs are cute. Your dog is cute. Cats are cute. Your cat is cute. Rabbits, hamsters, all cute. If they're yours and they go home, I personally don't want to own them. A pet like that. I have birds, a bird, and I have a huge aquarium that has everything in it, sharks, frogs, everything. Like, I love fish and underwater and stuff like that. So I'm just not really, I guess if I had to choose something, I've always loved and fascinated unicorns. So if somebody can find me a unicorn, then, you know, that will be my favorite four-legged creature. But otherwise, yeah, And I don't have a problem with people. Like, I can date somebody who has a dog, so it's not that. It's just I personally don't want one jumping on my furniture and stuff like that. I know it's cute, but no, I'm not about that life. Sorry. Do I like spicy food and why? Well, my parents are Jamaican. They come from the island of Jamaica. So everything I've grown up with has been spicy food. So I cannot eat bland food. If it's bland food, then it's under seasoned, it's not cooked properly. I won't be able to take that down. But spicy food, you should be able to taste what spices are in it. You should know that there's pepper and there's paprika and there's curry, or there's, like, you should be able to tell that thyme and scallion, like all these things. So, I mean, I think that's what differentiates a good chef from a not so good chef. My personal opinion. I mean, this is all about fun, right? So, let's see what the next question is. My phone keeps locking on me, so. Okay, is there something or someone you miss the most from childhood? Yeah, my grandma. Yeah, I had a pretty awesome grandma that treated me like there was nobody else in the world. My grandmother, I think, took me as a doll. She would bathe me and dress me up and let me sit down. Like, she wouldn't have me do very much, and she passed away when I was about 9, 10. So, yeah, I knew what she was like as an elder or as a grandparent, which is great, but I never got to experience what she would have been like knowing the adult me or having adult conversations with her, you know? So I feel like I missed out on that, and, you know, it's sad. I never really thought about that till today, but I would have loved to have been able to have had a conversation with my grandmother. Are you usually late, early, or right on time? Well, we've already answered this question, so we're going to kind of skip through this one pretty quickly. I'm always on time, but I'm always, like, there's no early or on time. So if I'm early, it doesn't mean I'm going to go into the building right then at that time. I can be outside enjoying myself, whatever. I could be talking on the phone. I could be posting. I could be commenting on things on Instagram or whatever. So, I mean, it's my time, right? But yes, I would be on time in getting to where I need to be, but I would be early because I would have been outside and having a little moment for myself before getting to work or whatever. Next question. Are you happy with your life for the most part right now? Yes. I have a great support team. I have friends who love and respect me. I have a vehicle. I have a roof over my head. I don't have to run to my parents for things anymore. Yeah, so for the most part, I mean, mind you, could I be happier? Could I have $1 billion in the bank? Of course, right? That would make me happier. But am I content? Yes, I am content for the most part. You could only have one of the following two things: trust or love. That's a little more complicated because I believe that love comes with trust. How can you love somebody if you don't trust them? I guess you can, but I guess that would be kind of a sad relationship. I wouldn't want to be in that. So for me, trust is very important. If I trust you, I can grow to love you. So I would need to trust you to even have you in my circle, to have you in my life, to have you in my vehicle, to have you in my home. So trust would be for me, trust would be the bigger attribute that I would need to have. Would be trust more than even love. Good question, Trevor. Thank you. Good question. Okay, so tell me about your favorite comic book, magazine, or favorite book. That's funny because I was just watching the new X-Men the other day, which I watched it kind of late, but whatever. But I was an X-Men kid growing up. Like, I guess we have a lot of boys in our family, so every X-Men movie, every X-Men comic book, the toys, whatever, they were always around. Lots of cousins, lots of brothers, lots of cousins and nephews and stuff like that in my family. So there's more men in our family than women. So I guess I'm a big X-Men fan. I've watched all the movies. I really hate how they portray Storm. I'm a huge Storm girl. She always has been my favorite X-Men. Right now, the movies are kind of portraying her kind of weak and making Wolverine seem to be the strongest X-Men, which I'm not knocking it. I mean, the man does have his powers, right? And his powers are what they are, but Storm is actually a badass, and they don't seem to show that in the movies anymore. So I don't know. Maybe that's something that we can talk to Marvel about or something. I don't know. But they need to have a Storm movie and bring her back as the badass that she's supposed to be, right? Tell me about somebody that you envy. I guess the normal answer to that question would be like a Beyonce or a Kim Kardashian or, I don't know, Joe Blow down the street. But to be honest, the person I envy the most would be my mother. My mother has a knack to her where she's able to forgive. If somebody has done her wrong, she can forgive. She can turn the other cheek. If somebody has stolen from her, she can still invite them back in. She is an amazing woman that way. I'm happy that she's my mother because watching her is teaching me stuff like that. I always tell people because I'm a Taurus, and if there's any Tauruses watching this, I'm not offending. I'm just talking about how strong and how strong-willed we are. I can forgive, but forgetting is very hard. I can see you and don't see you, if you get what I'm saying. I can work with you and not like you. I'm just keeping it real. That's what I'm about, so just saying. But my mother is completely different. My mother, she is just loving. She is, oh, you slashed my tires, so all right, you hungry? Like, that would be my mom, right? So, I envy that about her. She has, probably her best attribute is the fact that she's so forgiving. So I love that about her. Tell me something that you've achieved. I've achieved a lot of things. I was an air cadet. I was a Girl Guide. I have 3 college diplomas. I have been married. I'm not married anymore. I don't know if that's an attribute, but I've achieved love. I'm self-reliant. I'm on my own. I've achieved a lot. So yeah, I'm very happy. I'm very happy. I've achieved. I have a car that I like. So I've achieved a lot. Tell me the worst punishment you had when you were a child. My dad hates this conversation, but I got in trouble one time because I walked in on him and his wife. My parents were separated when I was a child, and that was okay. And my father, both of them moved on, and my father remarried, and his wife was great. She dealt with me proper, so I'm happy for that. And one night, the phone rang, and I went to go answer the phone, and knocked on the door. Nobody said come in. So I think this is what he was upset about. Nobody said come in. I just kind of opened the door anyways because I knew they were in there. And I saw something and closed the door and ran and went back to my bed and was just like, that was it. But the next day, I think I told my stepsister, I told the neighbor down the hall, and I told one more person, and I think it got back to him, and he was quite upset about that. And I don't think I got punished because of what I said. I think it was more every time he came to me to talk to me about it, I ran off. So, see my dad again, on the playground he sees me again, like I just would not stay in one place. I was like, no, this guy is not getting to me, boy. I feared my dad. As a kid, you're supposed to have somebody that you fear but don't fear, and I just didn't know. I didn't want to get into trouble for it. So, and I knew I was in trouble. So that night, my friends left me to go home. I was getting hungry, and I went home, and I got a little 2 slaps on the booty. And it's not the worst. At the end of the day, I should have faced it earlier. Maybe number 1, and number 2 is my dad's old school. Number 3 is I probably really pissed him off by running off so many times. I probably should have just been like, Dad, I'm sorry. That probably was what I should have done. But I was a kid. What did I know? Like, it was Mommy and Daddy making love. Like, come on now. You see that on Young and the Restless. What the heck did I know? So, to this day, I still bother him about it. My parents were very lenient with me. I got away with a lot of stuff. And I wasn't really punished. If my mother even said I was grounded, by the next day she forgot that she had grounded me the day before. So I never got into a lot of trouble as a kid. So, that's probably the reason why that story actually sticks out, because it was something that was dealt with. Number 16, Do you like chocolate? Yes, I do. I like chocolate everything. Chocolate chips. That's a new one that they have out there right now. Chocolate covered chips. Awesome. I like chocolate bars, and I try not to indulge too much, obviously, and I like dark chocolate, milk chocolate, white chocolate, chocolate. The only things of chocolate I don't like, funny thing is, I don't like chocolate ice cream. I don't know, I prefer rum and raisin, and especially from Jamaica, because it tastes in the real rum. And strawberry milkshakes. I prefer a strawberry milkshake over a chocolate milkshake. Do you like rainy days or snowy winter days more? No brainer. I like the rain. I think the rain is very sexy. I think it's very calming. I like to hear it against the windows. I like to, see when the sky changes while it's falling. So that's nice. As I mentioned, I am in Toronto. So one of the number one things that I do like is to see snow, like on Christmas Day. Christmas Day without snow would be kind of sad to me. I think I need to see a little bit of snowfall. So yeah. Okay. Name 3 things in nature you find most beautiful. Well, the sun, because I love my vitamin D, and I love to be able to go out there and not have to be cloaked up and whatever. So the sun. The rain, because I think it's just peaceful and soothing, and the moon. Yeah, the moon's very mysterious. Lying up and looking at the moon like when you go camping or something like that. It's just like the moon could tell a story if it could. Like, there's something, I don't know. I guess it's because it's one of those places you can't just jump in your car and drive to. It's like, what's out there? I don't know. So the moon. Let's see. And which are your 2 favorite careers and why? Well, one of the things I went to school was I achieved my paralegal. So I think being a lawyer would have been awesome because you've been able to help people in need. You've been able to fight for rights, and I'm all about fighting for what I believe in. The other one would be a doctor. I mean, imagine saving somebody's life on a regular. Imagine a person going through different doctors and not discovering what is wrong with them, and then coming to you and you are able to solve that situation. Imagine bringing life into the world, delivering a child. Like, imagine these things that are just blessings in your job. Like, I get it that the downside of everything is losing somebody, losing a case. So everything has its downsides, but when you think about the more positives, I mean, those would probably be the most amazing careers out there. And my last question is, which is the hardest thing you ever had to do? I think the hardest thing I've ever had to do was actually finally come out and do my YouTube channel. Honestly, I've been wanting to do this for like 5 years, about 5 years, roughly, give or take around there. And there's always something, work or school or my parents, or I don't have the right equipment yet, or this, or what am I going to talk about, or whatever. And one day I was actually just watching a blogger that I follow, and she said, if you're going to start it, the best thing to do is just start it. It will grow to where it needs to grow if you allow it. You have to make that first step, and that just made sense. And I just thought, why haven't I made the first step yet? So here I am. Welcome to my channel.